The warning signs are flashing red, but almost nobody wants to admit it. Inventory is exploding, prices are collapsing, and mortgage delinquencies are rising faster than any time since the Great Recession. Families who thought they locked in their dream home are now drowning under $3,000 mortgage bills, $10,000 insurance premiums, and shrinking equity. Builders are slashing prices, sellers are panicking, and entire metros are cracking under the weight of oversupply. This isn't a slowdown, it's the early stages of a nationwide housing meltdown. And the terrifying part? We've seen this movie before. Welcome back to 2008.
Number 10. Las Vegas, Nevada. Las Vegas has always sold itself as a city where fortunes are made overnight. But in 2025, the real gamble isn't at the blackjack table, it's in the housing market. Beneath the flashing neon lights and packed casinos, the numbers tell a story that feels like déjà vu from 2008. Inventory has surged to a jaw-dropping 29% higher than pre-pandemic levels, with over 11,000 homes now for sale in the Las Vegas metro area. The median single-family home, which peaked at a staggering $450,000 in 2022, has now slipped closer to $410,000. Desperate sellers are cutting asking prices by $25,000 to $60,000 just to draw in a handful of hesitant buyers. The problem? The economy of Vegas runs on fragile pillars. Nearly 30% of the workforce relies on hospitality and tourism, industries known for mass layoffs at the first sign of a recession. Meanwhile, the typical mortgage payment here is now $2,300 to $2,500 a month, a crushing load compared to average local wages. Add in homeowners insurance that often tops $2,800 annually, plus Nevada's rising property taxes, and suddenly that dream home is bleeding families dry. Builders see the desperation too. They're dangling $15,000 kitchen upgrades and mortgage rate buydowns just to move inventory, a move that puts everyday sellers in a losing position. Their homes are now sitting for an average of 52 days on market, compared to less than 7 days during the pandemic frenzy. Even more chilling is the rise in early-stage mortgage delinquencies. Borrowers in Clark County now carry an average balance of $280,000, up nearly $9,000 in a single year. When families can't even keep up with car payments and credit card bills, what happens when the mortgage bill lands? Las Vegas is showing us. Behind the illusion of crowded casinos and busy airports, the housing market is quietly unraveling. And just like in 2008, this city may once again become the poster child of America's real estate crash.
Number 9. Orlando, Florida. Orlando, the city of dreams and theme parks, is turning into a nightmare for homeowners. Prices that once soared are now slipping, with inventory climbing 44% higher than pre-pandemic levels. In 2022, the median Orlando home was selling for around $400,000. Now many are lingering closer to $365,000 to $375,000, often after $20,000 to $50,000 price cuts. Sellers desperate to unload are watching their properties sit on the market for 55 days on average, a staggering reversal from the bidding wars of just 2 years ago. The reality is grim for families. A standard mortgage payment now hovers around $2,200 to $2,400 per month, nearly double what locals paid before interest rates spiked. But the true killer here is Florida's notorious Achilles heel: insurance. Homeowners insurance is now averaging $3,500 annually, and with hurricanes pushing premiums through the roof, some buyers can't even qualify for insurance, effectively freezing them out of the market. Builders, once unstoppable, are offering tens of thousands in incentives, mortgage buys, closing cost credits, and free upgrades, yet still struggling to sell. Resale owners can't compete, especially as mortgage delinquencies creep upward. In Orange County, balances average $285,000, with early-stage delinquencies ticking higher each month. The danger in Orlando is systemic. Tourism makes up nearly 20% of the region's GDP, and those jobs don't come with the income needed to support $400,000 mortgages. As confidence erodes, the once booming market is shifting into panic mode. For many families, Disney magic won't pay the mortgage, and the city once sold as affordable Florida is now one of the first to crack under financial pressure. Orlando's dream homes are turning into financial traps.
Number 8. Nashville, Tennessee. Nashville, long hailed as the It City, is facing a reality check. Inventory is a staggering 44% above pre-pandemic levels, and the fevered pace of home sales has cooled into a grinding stall. A house that sold for $420,000 in 2022 now averages closer to $385,000 to $390,000, with sellers slashing tens of thousands just to get showings. The days of 10 offers in 24 hours are over. Listings now sit for 50 to 60 days. The cracks are most visible in affordability. Median household income in Nashville hovers around $78,000, yet the typical mortgage is now $2,400 a month on a medium-priced home, pushing families to the brink. Property taxes, once a footnote, have climbed to nearly $3,000 a year, and insurance costs add another $2,200 to $2,500. For many first-time buyers, the math no longer works. Builders are undercutting resales with aggressive incentives, $20,000 design packages, rate buydowns, and closing credits. Yet buyers remain cautious, spooked by headlines of price declines. Mortgage delinquencies in Davidson County have started to rise, with average balances creeping above $295,000. The cultural boom that fueled Nashville's housing frenzy, tech jobs, entertainment, out-of-state migration, is slowing. Fewer Californians are moving in, and locals can't absorb the excess inventory. Investors who once treated Nashville like gold are now exiting, flooding the market with rentals and stale listings. Nashville, once a shining symbol of growth, is quietly becoming an early warning siren for America's housing bust.
Number 7. San Francisco, California. San Francisco, the crown jewel of the Bay Area, is collapsing under the weight of its own excess. Inventory levels are 54% higher than before the pandemic, leaving sellers trapped in a game of undercutting. The median home price, once an eye-watering $1.6 million in 2022, has fallen closer to $1.4 million, with frequent price cuts of $100,000 to $150,000. Luxury condos sit unsold for months, and even once-prized Victorians linger with no offers. Affordability is worse than ever. A standard mortgage on a $1.4 million home now exceeds $7,500 per month, excluding taxes and insurance. Property taxes average $14,000 annually, while insurance adds another $4,000 to $6,000. Despite Silicon Valley wages, even high earners are balking at these costs, especially with tech layoffs erasing thousands of jobs. Builders are frozen, offering unheard-of concessions, $50,000 plus in credits and mortgage rate buys, but demand simply isn't there. The city's population has shrunk, with many fleeing to cheaper states. Mortgage delinquencies, though lower than in Middle America, are climbing. The average San Francisco mortgage balance is now $720,000, a staggering number that leaves little room for error. What's most shocking is buyer sentiment. Once the hottest real estate market in America, San Francisco now feels like a cautionary tale. Homes that sparked bidding wars in 2021 sit stale, cutting prices month after month. With rising inventory, falling tech jobs, and crumbling affordability, San Francisco's housing market is proving even the most prestigious city can't escape the gravity of a crash.
Number 6. San Antonio, Texas. San Antonio's housing market, once a magnet for affordability seekers, is now buckling under the weight of oversupply. Inventory is a shocking 58% higher than pre-pandemic levels, and it shows in the numbers. The median home price, which peaked at around $335,000 in 2022, has now dropped closer to $305,000 to $310,000, with sellers forced to slash prices by $15,000 to $40,000 to compete. Homes linger for 50 to 55 days on market, a stark contrast from the frenzy of 2021 when they vanished in under a week. Affordability has collapsed. Mortgage payments on a median home now average $2,000 to $2,200 per month, while property taxes in Bexar County add another $3,200 annually. Insurance has climbed as well, often $2,500 per year, squeezing families who thought San Antonio was a safe bet. Many buyers who stretched to qualify at 3% interest rates are now watching their home values sink while expenses rise. Builders once driving the boom are now offering desperate incentives, $15,000 in upgrades, appliance packages, and 2% mortgage rate buydowns, yet inventory keeps rising. Meanwhile, the average mortgage balance in San Antonio is $260,000, up nearly $8,000 a year, and early-stage delinquencies are creeping higher. The city's reliance on military and healthcare jobs provides stability, but not the wage growth needed to match rising costs. Investors who scooped up homes for rentals are retreating, dumping properties into a market already drowning in supply. San Antonio, once a bargain in Texas, is transforming into one of the sharpest warning signs of a broader housing collapse. Before we continue, if you find this kind of crucial, data-driven analysis valuable, please take a moment to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next video. Your support helps us deliver the truth about what's really happening in the nation.
Number 5. Fort Worth, Texas. Fort Worth's boom has hit a brick wall. Inventory here is a staggering 56% higher than pre-pandemic levels, flooding the market with homes that no one seems eager to buy. The median price, which hovered near $360,000 in 2022, is now closer to $330,000 to $340,000, with aggressive price cuts of $20,000 to $45,000 just to draw buyers to open houses. Mortgage payments on these homes now average $2,100 to $2,400 a month, while Tarrant County's property taxes chew up another $4,000 annually. Insurance premiums in North Texas often run $2,800 to $3,500, especially with storm risks factored in. For middle-class families, the supposed affordability advantage of Fort Worth has all but evaporated. Builders are in crisis mode. They're offering $25,000 closing credits, free appliances, and major mortgage rate buydowns, directly undercutting existing homeowners trying to sell. As a result, resale homes now sit on the market for 50-plus days, a complete reversal from the lightning-fast sales of just 2 years ago. The average mortgage balance in Fort Worth is now $275,000, up around $9,000 from last year, while early delinquencies are ticking upward. Investors once flocking from California to park cash in Fort Worth rentals are fleeing the market, leaving behind overpriced properties and vacant listings. With Dallas-Fort Worth once marketed as recession-proof, the cracks here show that no metro is immune. Fort Worth's shine is fading, and fast.
Number 4. Seattle, Washington. Seattle, once a shining beacon of tech wealth and endless demand, is unraveling at a pace that feels eerily familiar to 2008. Inventory levels have surged 61% higher than pre-pandemic, flooding the market with unsold homes. The median price, which soared to nearly $850,000 in 2022, has already slipped closer to $780,000 to $790,000, with sellers slashing $50,000 to $100,000 just to catch a buyer's eye. Homes that once sparked bidding wars and sold in days are now sitting on the market for 60-plus days, a brutal reversal for a city that once epitomized the housing boom. Affordability has collapsed. A standard mortgage on a median-priced home now costs $4,500 to $5,000 per month, a crushing burden even for Seattle's six-figure earners. King County property taxes average around $7,500 annually, while insurance adds another $3,000 to $4,000. Layer in rising utility and maintenance costs, and even households earning $150,000 a year are questioning whether home ownership here makes financial sense. The same families who thought they secured forever homes during the boom are now trapped, watching their equity evaporate. Builders, once untouchable, are in damage control mode. They're offering tens of thousands in incentives, luxury upgrades, and deep mortgage rate buydowns, sweeteners that would have been unthinkable just 3 years ago. Yet buyers remain cautious, spooked by layoffs from Amazon, Microsoft, and dozens of startups. With tech no longer guaranteeing stability, Seattle's housing market is exposed for how fragile it truly is. Data only deepens the alarm. The average mortgage balance here is around $410,000, up nearly $12,000 year over year. While early delinquencies are climbing as consumer debt levels reach record highs, more homeowners are falling behind. Seattle, once hailed as a can't-lose housing market, is fast becoming the poster child for a new era of overvaluation and collapse. The Emerald City's shine has dulled, and the fall has only just begun.
Number 3. Austin, Texas. Austin was once the crown jewel of America's pandemic boom, where homes flew off the market in hours and buyers lined up with cash offers $100,000 over asking. Fast forward to 2025, and the story couldn't be more different. Inventory is now a staggering 69% higher than pre-pandemic levels, and it shows everywhere. The median home price, which peaked near $600,000 in 2022, has slipped closer to $525,000 to $540,000, with widespread price cuts ranging from $50,000 to $120,000. Homes that once sold in under a week now sit on the market for an average of 60 days or more, collecting dust. The affordability crisis has shattered the dream. A median-priced home here carries a monthly mortgage of $3,200 to $3,500, while Travis County property taxes, among the highest in Texas, add nearly $7,000 annually. Insurance premiums, spiking due to severe storms, often cost $2,800 to $3,500 a year. For many middle-class families who thought Austin was their ticket to opportunity, the math no longer works. Builders are dumping inventory at fire sale prices. They're dangling tens of thousands in incentives, free solar panels, luxury appliance packages, and 2-3% mortgage rate buydowns. This makes it nearly impossible for resale homeowners to compete. Investors who once viewed Austin as Silicon Valley's southern cousin are now pulling out, overwhelmed by declining rents and oversupply. The numbers behind the scenes are even scarier. The average Austin mortgage balance has ballooned to around $325,000, up more than $10,000 from last year, while early-stage mortgage delinquencies are climbing month after month. Add in tech layoffs at Tesla, Meta, and countless startups, and the support system holding this housing market together is crumbling. Austin's free fall proves that no city, no matter how trendy, can outrun the laws of affordability. What was once America's hottest housing market is fast becoming its most painful cautionary tale.
Number 2. Denver, Colorado. Denver was marketed as the mile-high city with unlimited growth potential. Today, it looks more like a bubble floating on thin air. Inventory levels are now a jaw-dropping 100% higher than pre-pandemic, meaning there are literally twice as many homes sitting unsold compared to 2019. The median home price, which hit nearly $575,000 in 2022, has fallen closer to $510,000 to $525,000, and sellers are slashing anywhere from $30,000 to $80,000 to attract cautious buyers. Mortgage affordability has collapsed. A typical monthly payment now runs $3,000 to $3,300, while Denver's property taxes add about $3,500 annually. Insurance premiums are up sharply too, with homeowners often paying $2,400 to $3,200 a year. For a city once seen as affordable compared to California, Denver is now pricing out its own middle class. Builders are panicking. They're offering tens of thousands in upgrades, mortgage buys of 2%, and cash credits at closing. But even those aren't enough. Resale homes linger for 55 to 65 days compared to less than a week at the market's peak. The debt story is alarming. The average Denver mortgage balance is about $315,000, up over $9,000 from last year, and delinquency rates are climbing. Households that once stretched to buy at 2-3% mortgage rates now face soaring maintenance, property tax hikes, and inflation across the board. With the local economy tied heavily to tech, aerospace, and tourism, any downturn hits housing directly. What makes Denver's fall so shocking is its speed. Few markets in America have doubled their inventory in such a short time. The illusion of endless demand has evaporated, leaving Denver's housing market gasping for air at the peak of the mountain.
Number 1. Florida statewide. Florida, once the ultimate migration magnet, is now the epicenter of America's housing unraveling. Prices are coming down basically everywhere, from Miami's glittering condos to Tampa's suburban sprawl. Inventory has exploded across the state, and the cracks are impossible to ignore. In many metros, prices are down 8 to 10% year over year, while even modest markets are seeing $20,000 to $50,000 price cuts just to lure buyers. A median-priced Florida home that sold for $410,000 in 2022 now hovers around $370,000 to $380,000 depending on the region. But the real killer here isn't just falling prices, it's the cost of ownership. Home insurance in Florida has become a nightmare, with average premiums now topping $6,000 to $10,000 annually depending on hurricane risk zones. Property taxes tack on another $4,000+ per year, and maintenance costs are spiraling as inflation drives up everything from roofing to air conditioning repairs. Even with lower prices, the typical monthly mortgage sits at $2,500 to $3,000, making Florida one of the least affordable states. Builders are desperate. They're offering tens of thousands in incentives, free pools, luxury appliance packages, and rate buy-downs just to unload inventory. Resale homes can't keep up, with average days on market stretching past 60 days. Sellers are cutting their listing prices at the fastest rate in nearly a decade. The debt picture is just as troubling. The average mortgage balance across Florida is about $285,000, up $8,000 year over year, with delinquencies climbing in nearly every county. Families who fled northern states for cheap sunshine are now trapped in homes they can barely afford, while investors who banked on endless rental demand are facing rising vacancies. Florida is the state to watch because it embodies every pillar of a crash: soaring insurance, falling prices, oversupply, and rising debt. What was once sold as paradise is now the storm center of America's housing collapse.
So what is the final verdict on the American housing market? Is this a full-blown crash or simply a long overdue correction? The answer, as we've seen, is not uniform. The national numbers may still look stable, but that's a mirage created by the strongest, most resilient markets, masking the brutal realities in the most vulnerable. Across the country, from the desert heat of Las Vegas to the coastal crisis in Florida, the same forces are at play. A relentless affordability crisis is forcing out would-be buyers. A massive oversupply of new homes is creating a race to the bottom for builders and existing sellers. And for the families who stretched to buy at the peak, rising costs of ownership are turning a dream into a financial trap. This isn't a repeat of 2008. The causes are different and the pain is unevenly distributed. But for the markets we've explored today, the ones with record inventory, spiraling prices, and surging delinquencies, the distinction between a correction and a crash is meaningless. They are already experiencing a meltdown. The question isn't whether the market is changing, it's whether it can adapt before the rot spreads to the rest of the nation. The American dream of home ownership is at a crossroads. As we've shown, the party is over and the lights are finally on. The final chapter of this story is yet to be written, but the warning signs are too loud to ignore.